Johan Liebert, from Monster, is often regarded as the most terrifying anime character of all time. And it's not because of supernatural powers, flashy battles, or overwhelming strength. Instead, Johan embodies pure psychological horror, a villain whose presence is enough to unsettle viewers, leaving an impact long after the anime ends. What makes Johan so frightening isn't just what he does, but how he does it. He's not a monster in the literal sense, but the title of the series Monster was inspired by him. Today, let's explore why Johan Liebert is the most terrifying anime character ever created. Johan is the kind of character who can make you feel his presence without even being on screen. His aura is built on silence, manipulation, and the uncanny ability to break down people's minds. Unlike most villains who scream power or chaos, Johan operates in the shadows. He is calm, composed, and disturbingly elegant. He doesn't need to raise his voice. He doesn't need to dirty his hands. And yet, entire lives are destroyed by him. That subtlety is what makes him terrifying. One of the scariest aspects of Johan is his manipulation skills. He knows exactly what to say to make someone spiral into madness. He studies people, understands their insecurities, and then pushes them toward their own downfall. For Johan, it's not about killing with his own hands. It's about planting a seed in someone's mind and watching them collapse under the weight of their own despair. It's psychological warfare at its peak. He turns people into pawns, orchestrates massacres without firing a bullet, and convinces others to take their own lives. His influence spreads like a virus, quietly infecting anyone who crosses his path. Another terrifying trait is Johan's intelligence. He's a mastermind, able to predict human behavior with chilling accuracy. Nothing he does is impulsive. Every move feels calculated, as if he's always 10 steps ahead of everyone else. This makes him unpredictable and unstoppable, because how do you fight someone who already knows what you'll do before you even do it? His intelligence isn't just book smart, it's emotional intelligence. The ability to manipulate hearts and minds with surgical precision. That's what separates him from other anime villains. But what makes Johan stand apart is the way he represents the darkest side of humanity. He is not a demon, nor an otherworldly being. He is human, just like us. And that's where the true terror lies. Johan represents what happens when humanity is stripped of empathy, morality, and love. He's proof that monsters don't need fangs, claws, or supernatural powers. Sometimes, the most horrifying monster is simply a person who understands the fragility of the human mind and chooses to exploit it. The anime itself builds Johan's terror perfectly. Many times, we don't even see him on screen, but his influence is everywhere. Other characters talk about him in hushed tones, as if just mentioning his name is dangerous. And when Johan finally appears, his calm and charming demeanor creates an unsettling contrast with the chaos he leaves behind. He doesn't look threatening, he looks normal, even angelic. That duality between appearance and reality is exactly what makes him unforgettable. One of the most iconic scenes that shows his terrifying nature is the infamous suicide speech. Johan convinces a man to take his own life, not by yelling or forcing him, but simply by whispering words of despair. His voice is calm, almost soothing, but every sentence cuts deeper into the man's soul. It's a chilling reminder of how dangerous words can be in the wrong hands. That scene alone has left countless viewers shaken, proving just how powerful Johan's presence really is. But Johan's terror doesn't stop with strangers. He also manipulates children, families, and even entire communities. He dismantles bonds of trust, pits loved ones against each other, and destroys the foundations of hope. There's something especially horrifying about the way he uses innocence as a tool, leaving no boundary untouched. To Johan, everyone is a potential piece in his grand design, and no one is safe from his influence. What also makes Johan terrifying is his mystery. We never fully understand what drives him. Is he pure evil? Is he the product of trauma and experiments? Or is he something else entirely? That ambiguity makes him scarier, because the unknown always is. Unlike villains with clear motives like revenge, power, or justice, Johan's true intentions feel abstract, as if he sees life itself as meaningless. He embodies nihilism in its rawest form. To him, existence is an empty void, and dragging others into that void is his way of proving a point. And yet, Johan is not just a villain, he is a mirror. He forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature. How fragile is sanity? How easily can we be manipulated? How thin is the line between order and chaos? Johan doesn't just terrify us, he makes us question ourselves, and that's why he's unforgettable. Unlike other anime villains who rely on spectacle, Johan's terror comes from subtlety and realism. There's no magic, no fantasy, no convenient excuses. Every horrifying act he commits is something that could happen in real life, which is exactly why it sticks with us. You don't walk away from Johan thinking, "What an amazing fight scene." You walk away thinking, "I hope I never meet someone like him in real life." And that lasting psychological impact is what makes him the scariest character in anime. Another element that cements his terror is how he strips people of hope. Even the strongest, most determined individuals often crumble under Johan's influence. He doesn't just defeat people, he erases their will to live. That's something no physical battle could ever achieve. His battlefield is the mind, and in that battlefield, he is untouchable. The beauty of Monster lies in how it portrays Johan not as an external force, but as an internal fear. The series suggests that monsters aren't born, they're created, shaped by trauma, society, and choices. Johan is terrifying because he represents the potential darkness inside anyone, a living example of what happens when empathy is replaced with emptiness. That's why his presence lingers long after the show ends. In the end, Johan Liebert is terrifying, not because of what he is, but because of what he represents. He's the embodiment of emptiness, manipulation, and the cruelty that can exist in human nature. He's proof that true horror doesn't need monsters or ghosts. It only needs a person with enough intelligence and darkness to exploit the weaknesses of others. Johan Liebert isn't just the most terrifying anime character, he's a reminder that the scariest monsters of all are the ones who look human, and that is why Johan Liebert from Monster will forever remain the most chilling, unforgettable, and psychologically disturbing character in anime history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Johan's terrifying character, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more anime breakdowns and character analyses. And let me know in the comments, which anime villain do you think rivals Johan? In terms of psychological horror, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the most dangerous monsters were a human smile.